Future Radio 107.8 FM. So it's not often that you get the opportunity to watch new theatre for free, and our next guest is offering just that opportunity. So the play, The Response, is set in the wake of the London bombings of 7/7. It kicks off at the Seagull Theatre in Lowestoft for a couple of nights on Thursday the 1st of Feb. Here to tell us all about it is playwright John Hales. Hello, John.
Hello, Amy. How are you?
Hi, grand. Thank you so much. So you're here to tell us all about The Response. Can you give us a brief outline of the plot of the play?
Yes, absolutely. I won't go into too many spoilers because the first thing to know is it's a thriller. But it's a thriller with an awful lot of drama that kind of you get surprised by, really, and a lot more of... It's very heavily kind of researched. So essentially, it's set on the 20th of June, 2006, the night of the England-Sweden match. And following on the bombings of 7/7 the previous year, 4 extremists have just taken some more British hostages. But there's an awful lot of twists along the way.
Oh, goodness. Okay, already my attention is highly piqued. So,
oh, cool. That's nice to hear.
What kind of drew you to this particular subject matter, I'm wondering?
Do you know what? It was actually a question, Amy, of sitting there and thinking, why hasn't X happened yet? Which is something that I won't go into too much. But obviously, the other thing is that in my writing work generally, I kind of like to do research-led projects, and the one thing that hadn't really been out there was anything to do with 7/7 and the aftermath of that, and the survivors and things like that. And what's been extraordinary is, pardon the pun, the response to the project, insofar as I've met the most incredible, inspiring survivors of 7/7. I've met people from the anti-terror squad. I've met members of the Islamic community, members of the English far right, reformed members of the English far right. You know, and it's such a cultural, particularly in the light of where we are today with the terror attacks in the country and abroad. It's a way of looking at something that's very topical and very immediate for us today, and in a place that is 11 or so years ago.
So, John, you just alluded to the fact that you have had a huge amount of support when it comes to this theatre piece. Arts Council got behind it. Arguably, though, none more so important than the backing of Dan Biddle.
Absolutely.
Who is a survivor of the 7/7 attacks in London. How did that kind of affect the play's progression and yourself personally, I guess, as well, being involved with Dan?
Yeah, no, great questions, Amy. So, first off, it's a massive thank you to the Arts Council, because that's why we're in what's called an R&D program, which is where they said, right, we like the idea, we like what you've done before, so let's experiment with it, which means we can let people come and see it. But then I started researching, and I found Dan's story, and it's the kind of thing that just breaks your heart.
Yeah.
You know, and what you get when you actually talk to Dan is the exact opposite of what you think you're going to get, because you think you're going to get someone broken and haunted and absolutely terrified and still terror-stricken by what he's been through. And of course, it leaves scars, of course it does, and he had the most terrible injuries. But this is a man who's completely turned his life around. And there's an inspiration. He's actually coming down to see the play in Lowestoft on the Friday the 2nd.
Phenomenal.
And then wonderful spin-off from the play is that Dan is at a mental health conference talking in Lowestoft again on the 3rd, because one of his particular strong causes is civilian PTSD, which is something that while of course it's very serious for all of the forces, it's a very new and emerging area of mental health, and particularly in lieu of all sorts of things, but the 7/7 being a focus that we can draw attention to it through.
Wow, so it's been a really lovely relationship between all of you, really.
Oh,
you've gained,
incredible.
He's gained. Lovely.
Yeah, that's it. Yes, exactly, and a lot of other people with. And in terms of, I forgot you asked me about my journey. It's with any research project you do, you kind of end up meeting the things you're afraid of, and then the things that change your mind and make you feel a bit better about the world. And it's a very dark play. It could be quite controversial. There's controversial stuff in it, but nothing ever gratuitous. And it's a play that's made me really look at the way I see things, and again, we've got the most incredible bunch of actors and crew that are working on it, and it's been a joy to explore that with them, because it's a giant melting pot, and we're all bringing our own experiences and cultural traditions and references to it. So it's actually quite a magnetic thing to be a part of, and a complete joy from my point of view, and they're just the most incredible bunch of people.
Well, it sounds like an incredibly important theme to be addressed, especially within the political climate in which we find ourselves. So well done to you for taking it on. John, can you tell us a little bit about where the details, I guess, where we need to be and when we need to be there?
Absolutely right. So you need to be, first off, at the Seagull Theatre in Lowestoft, which has a Facebook page, but is also on seagull.co.uk. It's in Lowestoft. It's a beautiful independent theatre. And that is on Thursday evening and Friday evening, the first and the second. Part of what we're doing, and what's exciting, hopefully, for our audience is they get to feed back to us about the play. So when they arrive, we ask them what they think they're going to see at the interval, after the show. And then the other good thing is there's a chance, again, all free of charge, for people to talk to the cast and me and with a Q&A after the show. So that's the Seagull Thursday and Friday, and then next week on Wednesday we're in Colchester at the Mercury Theatre Studios. So if you look up the Mercury Theatre Studios, you can get, again, your free tickets there, but they are going very fast at all venues now. We're kind
Fabulous. So we get a triple dose, and we have to book, even though it's free. You would fully advocate we need to book so that you can get a seat.
And I tell you why, because we're about 80-90% sold on most venues now.
Amazing.
But there's still room at Colchester, and we may be opening up a free matinee performance on the Friday. We've got a Response Play Facebook, if people want to look at it, or the Response Play Twitter. They can get all the details from. We've got, cast that have had huge parts in movies and TV that have all been attracted to the project and come on board. And please book, because even though it's free, the one thing that people might do is, I'll book and then not show up, and that's a real shame, because other people that might get to see it will be saying, oh no, we're sold out. So what we're asking is, people come along, let us know what you think of the play. You've got a free night out, you can spend it at the bar, whatever you want, and have a chance in shaping how the work moves on from here.
Excellent. Thank you so much, John, for taking the time to chat to us about it. We wish you all the best with it as well.
Cheers, Amy. You take care, and thanks ever so much. Okay?
You too. So a big thanks to playwright John Hales there for joining to tell us all about his upcoming play, The Response. As he said, you can catch it at the Seagull Theatre Thursday the 1st and Friday the 2nd of February. You can catch it there in Lowestoft. Tickets are available online. All the W's, theseagull.co.uk.